Hi, I'm Teja Gerken with Peghead Nation, and I'm here with a Schoenberg Quartet guitar. This is a very interesting instrument made by Schoenberg Guitars, which is, of course, the company spearheaded by Erich Schoenberg, who is both known as a fingerstyle guitar player as well as a longtime guitar designer. And if you look into the history of the OM guitar, Erich had a very important position in sort of bringing that guitar back through his involvement with Schoenberg Guitars, and early on working with Martin on recreating that guitar back in the 70s and 80s. And many of Schoenberg's soloist guitars, as they're known, are based on the OM designs and the more traditional designs. But this quartet is probably the most original guitar to date that Erich has come up with. And it's a very cool idea and a beautifully executed design. So let's take a closer look at it. So the quartet designation of this guitar refers to what's essentially a quadruple O size body, sometimes known as the M size body. That is, of course, a body that originally Martin came out with their F series archtop back in the 30s or 40s. It's been modified to flat top guitars by quite a few makers, but pretty much always has the traditional 14 fret neck joint. These guitars are 12 fret guitars with a cutaway. Now what Erich has essentially done, he kind of did the reverse process that Martin did back in the early 30s when they went from 12 fret designs to 14 fret designs, where they took the existing 12 fret style bodies, shortened them a little bit to make room for the 14 fret neck. Erich took the quadruple O size body and elongated it a little bit to make it work with the 12 fret neck. So that's a very cool process to have done. It results in kind of a unique body shape. You can tell where it came from, but it's definitely not something you see a lot. And the addition of the cutaway, of course, gives it a much more contemporary kind of a vibe as well. Now, this guitar is built by Randy Kramer, who is a luthier out in Truckee, California. He's been building quite a few Schoenberg guitars. Erich has worked with different luthiers over the years. This guitar is beautifully made, and I've seen Randy's work over the years, and he's a fine craftsman and a great luthier to build these instruments. This particular guitar is made with Italian spruce for the top, and it's a beautiful top. And koa back and sides, and the koa used on this guitar really is very beautiful, beautifully figured, especially on the sides, but a nice rich color. Koa doesn't always have this kind of a rich dark brown color as on this guitar. Very, very nice. Erich's used koa on quite a few of his Schoenberg guitars over the years, and has always been a big fan of this wood, so it's nice to see it used on this quartet. Of course, the guitar has the wide string spacing that Schoenberg soloists have always been known for. So very comfortable play on the right hand and the left hand, but really the key is the wider string spacing at the saddle that is similar to vintage OMs, but it's not often found on contemporary guitars. I happen to really like this for playing fingerstyle. Gives you a little bit more room on the right hand to execute some tricky passages, and this guitar has exactly those dimensions that Schoenbergs have been known for. The guitar has a solid peghead with Schaller open-geared Grand Tune tuning machines. It has snowflake fingerboard inlays at the 5th, 7th, and 9th fret. What looks like abalone side markers, and they're nice and big dots there. They're easy to see and really nicely offset by the black ebony fingerboard. The neck has a slight V shape on this guitar, and you can feel the width of the neck with this. It's very comfortable whether you play with your thumb behind the neck or reach around, but it's really a highly playable fingerstyle neck. There's an abalone rosette with 4 rings surrounding the abalone on both sides as well. The guitar has a pyramid bridge, beautifully executed ebony bridge. And another thing that I didn't mention earlier talking about the body is that it is a little bit shallower than traditional quadruple O guitars would be typically, and Eric feels that that gives it a little bit more clarity, and especially on a 12-fret guitar, which already tends to have an increased bass response because of where it places the bridge on the guitar and the slightly larger body. Having the shallower depth helps kind of create a more clarity in the tonality. Now this is not super shallow, but just a little bit shallower than you would find on a typical 14-fret quadruple O guitar. Now, really a great response to this guitar. I'm in a C, G, C, G, C, D tuning when I was playing Schoenberg Guitar earlier, and no problem holding that low C on this instrument, and just great response. And really every note just pops out and has just wonderful clarity. And again, the right hand string spacing really facilitates fingerstyle playing. So overall, just a very cool fingerstyle guitar. The larger size is perfect for players who just need a little bit more volume and power than you can get from a smaller guitar, or who may also be looking for kind of that low end you get with a slightly larger body than you would get perhaps with an OM. Between the slightly larger size and the 12-fret design, it definitely delivers in that department. And having the cutaway really gives you great upper fret access, even with a 12-fret design. I'm tuned back to standard tuning, and I'll go out playing a little bit of a Teja study on this to see what it sounds like in standard tuning, to show you that. Really a fun guitar to play. I definitely recommend you check out Eric's Guitars at om28.com. That's the Schoenberg Guitars website. Or if you're in Tiburon, California, you can go visit his shop. I'll go out playing a little bit more, and please come back here to Peghead Nation for more of our gear demos. My name is Teja Gerken.